All right, well, I've been browsing through Logic Masters Germany again, and I was looking for something with a high rating, and not easy, but not hard, kind of in the mid-range difficulty-wise, and this one caught my eye. This one has a 3-star rating for difficulty, and it has a 99% quality rating, but it's only been solved 21 times, and it was published in August of 2020, so that's a long time to only have 21 solves, which makes me think it might be high 3, but you know, sometimes you post things on there and they just don't get any attention because there's a lot of stuff on there. It's hard to say. So either way, 99% rating for quality means this is going to be a fun puzzle. I don't know for sure on the difficulty. 3-star could mean a lot of things. So I guess we'll find out together. Let's see. Over here is the puzzle. This is Invisible Killers. Now, it's part of a series of slingshot Sudokus, which we'll get to in a second. But this one's called Invisible Killers. It's by Stephane Bura. Stephane Bura. That's how I'm going to say that's pronounced. Whether it's correct or not, that's what I'm going to say. Invisible Killers. So the way slingshot Sudoku works, let's see. I have an example here. Stefan? It might be Stefan, but with the A-N-E, it makes me think Stephane. All right. Anyways, this is the example ones here. So, as you can see over there in the example, the way the arrows work is the digit in the cell the arrow comes from. So sort of not the tip of the arrow, but the I don't know, the butt of the arrow. I don't know what else to call it, so that's what I call them. But the butt of the arrow. Is coming from the 6 there on the left side. So that means that the digit in that cell, the 6, appears in the grid in the direction of the arrow. Okay, so you can see the 6 in the row below where the arrow points to the right is over there. And it appears a distance of n cells where n is the digit in the arrow cell. Okay, so the arrow is coming from the 6, which means the 6 is the projected number. The arrow is in the cell with the 3, which means that 6 appears 3 digits to the right, because the arrow is pointing to the right. Now, similarly, that 3 up there has an arrow coming out of it, so the 3 is projected, and the arrow is in a cell with a 2, which means it is projected 2 cells to the left of that arrow. And we can see that 3 happens just like that. So that's slingshot Sudoku. So it's a little complicated to think about, but essentially, whatever number the arrow is coming from has to be projected. It's projected in the direction of the arrow and in the distance of the number of cells that the arrow is in. Okay. Now, this one has an extra thing called Invisible Killers. Now, the way this works, you'll notice that the arrow coming from the 6 is black and the arrow coming from the 3 is gray. And so if the arrow is black, so all the arrows do the same slingshot thing, but if the arrow is black, it creates a virtual killer cage from the arrow to that projected digit cell. So you can see the arrow starts at the 3, and it projects to the 6 that's farther to the right, 3 cells. And so that becomes a 4-cell killer cage, and the sum of the killer cage is the product of the projected digit and the digit in the arrow. So the sum of that killer cage is the 6 times the 3. So there's a lot to unpack there. If you look through the example and think about what it's saying, I think it makes sense. And so the gray arrows do not create killer cages, just the black arrows. And we have one extra thing in this. It says, in this puzzle, all the digits projected by black arrows are either 6 or 7. So that will help a little bit, I think, with kind of narrowing down our options, because we know it's going to be a 6 or a 7 that's then multiplied by the digit below, or whichever direction the arrow is going, the arrow digit. So it's going to be a 6 or a 7 times the arrow digit, gives us the sum of the killer cage. Okay. So that's the rules. Give it a go yourself. I've got a link in the description where you can try this. I'm going to try it. I don't know what to expect. It'll be interesting. I'm trying to remember. I feel like I've done one slingshot Sudoku before. A long time ago, though. And it was just slingshot. It didn't have the invisible kill and all this extra stuff. So I kind of I don't really remember it, but I feel like I've done it before. If nothing else, I've looked at one. So there we go. I'm gonna give it a try now. We'll see how it goes. So let's get the puzzle back on screen here. Here we go. This is our puzzle. And I'm gonna reset the timer, and we're off. So one thing that we can do, I guess, is all of the cells that have an arrow coming out of them have to be a 6 or a 7. A black arrow coming out of them. Sorry. So we can make those all 6s and 7s. And so we have a 6-7 pair here. We have a 6-7 pair down here. So that's something. We have a 6-7 pair in row 3. Hi, Banjo. Are you going to help us solve? But what do we do with that? All right, so I guess we can think about the 6s and the 7s have to be projected, right? This one it can't go very far. 1, 2, or 3 is all it can be. So this is a 1, 2, or a 3, because this is how far it's projected. Now, I was trying to decide if this one has to project to there, but I don't think it does necessarily. It could, but it doesn't have to. Because you could have, we've only got 1, 6, or 7 in this column right now. We couldn't put it down here or here. Anyways, let's come back to this one. So 1, 2, or 3. And we also know this is creating a killer cage, right? So, and the product, or the sum of the killer cage is the product of this. So let's imagine this was a 1. The killer cage would then be just 2 cells long. This would have to, well, this can't be a 6 or a 7 anyways, because of row 3. Okay, never mind. Let's imagine it was a 2. So that means that the killer cage was this long. So essentially the cage is 1 cell bigger than the number here. So if it's a 2, we have a 3 cell. And it would have to be either 12 or 14, because it would be 2 times 6 or 2 times 7. And so if it was, so 12 or 14 minus 2, so it's going to be 10 or 12 in these, and one of them is the 6 or the 7. So it could be 6, 4 or 7, 3 if you had a 2. So if that's a 2, it's 6, 4 or 7, 3. If it's a 3, now we've got, all right, so 6, so that would put a 6 or a 7 up here, if it's 3. If it's 6, you're going to have a 3 and a 6, which is 9. Wait, hold on. I'm not sure I did the math right on that one. Okay, if this is a 2, there's a 6 or a 7 here. If it's 6, we need it to be 12, and we have 8, which makes a 4. If it's 7, we need it to be 14, and we have 10. So this is a 4 either way, if that's a 2. Because 12 minus 8 is 4. Did I do that? No, I didn't do that right. Man, I cannot do the math here. Okay. There's a lot of numbers. Okay, a lot of numbers to think about. I'm going to actually write in a 2 there just temporarily so that I can think about this properly. 6, we would have 6 times 2 is 12. This would have to be 12. This would be a 4 because you'd have 6 and 2, you'd have 4. 7 times 2 is 14. You would have 7 and 2, which is 9. This would need to be a 5. Okay, if that's a 2, then it's like this. If it's a 3, what would happen? We would have, actually, okay, forget all that for a second. What I said before is, do these two have to be the same? And the answer is actually yes. No, the answer is no, they cannot be the same. And the reason that's true is because this digit here, if it's a 6 or a 7, is being projected up here, right? So whatever this digit is, if it's a 6, there's a 6 up here. If it's a 7, there's a 7 up here. This is still a 2 or 3. Whatever digit is here is up here. Therefore, this must be the opposite one. So this cannot be pointing at that. And in fact, we know these can't be 6s or 7s because there's one here and there's another one up here. So that rules out these. This can't be the one. And we can't put it down here because we've already got a 6 and 7 in the box. So in fact, this one has to be projected to one of these two. which is interesting. So that means it is 1, 2, 3. It's 4 or 5. So that's a 4 or a 5. Okay, I'm going to come back to this now. That gave me a little bit, but... yeah, okay. So this is... there's a lot to think about with this puzzle. This is interesting. Okay, so I said it had to be 6, 7, and 4 or 5. Okay. Which would give us a 4 or 5 pair, which would be interesting. But if this is a 3, then the 6 or 7 is up here. Okay, so let's remember that's 6, 7, and 4, 5. If this is a 2, you would need 12. No, sorry. We're doing 3. 3. 18. 6 times 3. I'm going to write the 3 in again. Just help me remember. Okay, this would be 18. We would already have 9. These would have to sum to 9. But could it be 3, 6? But it could be 1, 8, or 2, 7, or 4, 5. Okay, if it's 7, we need 21, and we've got 10. These would have to sum to 11. It can't be 4, 7, or 3, 8. It could be 5, 6, or 9. Oh, it couldn't be 5, 6. It would have to be 9, 2. There's quite a few options there. All right, unfortunately. Okay, so we know there's a 6 or a 7 in one of these. So what about this one? Because it can't be here, because we've got a 6, 7 down here and one up here. Can't be in this. It can't be in 4 or 6. So 1, 2, 4. Could it be bigger than that? It could, because as you make this bigger, the thing is, I was trying to decide, could you have like an 8 in here, for example? Well, you couldn't because it puts 6 over here. But let's say you have a 7. Let's say this is a 6 and it's projected to 7. Could you make a killer cage that big? And you could, because this is now 6 times 7, which is 42, and that would totally work. So this is 1, 2, 4, 6, or 7, I guess. Now, interestingly, this one... okay, we do know something. Here we go. This is good. So we know these two are different, right? Let's actually color them. Oh, that's not what I want to do. This is yellow, and this is red. Now, what that tells us is this one is also red, right? And, so, where is this pointing on this row? It has to be pointing there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This has to be a 5, which means this is a 4. And this one is then pointing 1, 2, 3, 4. This has to be the 1, 2, 3, the yellow one here. Okay, and this has to be yellow. Okay, the coloring is going to be good, I think. This has to be yellow. So, do we know the colors of any more? This one's yellow. So, 1, 2. This could... oh, so this is pointing... yeah, this is pointing at this one. Because where else can you put a yellow 6 or 7 in row 5 when you already have a yellow 6 or 7 right there? So this is 1, 2, 3. This is a 4. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. We know there's a red up here. Let's see. This yellow is pointing up. Now this could also be yellow pointing down at a yellow, couldn't it? But it would have to be in here. If this was a 1 or a 2, this could be pointing down at it. You could put a yellow right in there. Okay, well, we know there's a red pointing up this way. But it could be any of those. So it's 1, 2, 3, or 4. Because we can't go here because of the red here. And we can't go up here because we've already got a 6 and a 7 in this box. So 1, 2, 3, or 4. Now this one has to point across here. This one has to point across here. We can't put a 6 or 7 in these columns. There's a red one up here. If this is yellow, this is a 3. But I'm not sure how that helps. Okay, so we've got the 4 and the 5 and the 6 and the 7 all in this column. So maybe we can do something with the killer cages. So we know this goes... Oh, in fact, we can, I think, because... So this is a 5-cell killer cage that sums to 24 or 28, if this is 6 or 7. And it has a 6 and a 7 in it. So it's 13 and 4. We've already got 17. It needs to be 24 or 28. We've got 17. So this has to be 7 or 10. Is that right? Got 17. We need to do 20. Yeah, because it increases by 4. The sum increases by 4 when you increase this by 1. So this is 7 or... Wait, how does it increase by... Am I doing the math wrong again? Okay, 13 and 4 is 17. If this sums to 24, 6 times 4, then this would be 7. 24 minus 7. 7 times 4 is 28. It's 11. So it's 7 and 11. I don't know how to do math today. 7 or 11. If it's 7, we can't do 1, 6 or 3, 4. It would have to be 2, 5. But we have a 5 down here, so we can't do that. So it can't be 7. This has to be a 7. 7, 6. This has to sum to 28. We've got 17. So we need 11, which can't be 5, 6, or 4, 7. It could be 2, 9, or 3, 8, though. But we know this is a 6. This is a 7. This is a 7. Okay. Now this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, this one also has the 13, and it also has a 5. So this is 18 already, and it needs to sum to 30. So these 3 need to be 12. Okay, we've got 1, 2, 3, 8, 9. That's just what's left in the column here, just by normal Sudoku. So how do we make 12, right? Because this is 18. We need 30, 6 times 5. So these have to be 12. 1, 3, 8. Or 1, 2, 9. So the 1 is in here with 3, 8, or 2, 9. Oh, yeah, and 3, 8, or 2, 9 up here. Okay, so unfortunately, there's a few options there. But we know there's a 6 up here now. And now maybe we can do something with this killer cage here since we know some of the digits in here. So again, if this is 2, that's a 6. You've got 8. You need to get 12. This has to be a 4. Oh, this can't be a 4 anymore. So this, if this is 2, that puts a 6 there. This is a killer cage that has to sum to 12. This would be 4. We've already got a 4. So this is a 3. That's a 6 up there. And now we've got 9. It needs to be 18. So these need to be 9. It can't be, let's see, it could be 1, 8. It can't be 2, 7, 3, 6, 4, 5. It has to be 1, 8. This is 2, 9. Those are 1, 3, 8. There we go. These are 5 and 6, I believe. No, not 5 and 6. That's totally wrong. There's a 6 right there. These are 3 and 5. 3 and 5. This can't be a 3 because it's in the same box here with the 3. This is a very interesting puzzle. Already. I just started and it seems pretty interesting. Well, I say I've just started, but it's actually been 14 minutes. I feel like I just started. It doesn't feel like it's been going slowly, but apparently it has. So if this is a 7, then we have a 3 here. If it's a 6, 3, 4, then we have a 5. Because this has to be pointing at one of those two. Oh, this is, should we color this red? We probably should. So this is pointing at a yellow. which can't be in here or up there. So it's got to be 1, 2, 6, or 7. And it can't be 6 or 7. This has to be pointing up. It can't, it could be 1, it could be 2, it can't be 3, 4, or 5, because we've already got a yellow there. Can't be 6 or 7, because we can't put a 6 or a 7 right here, and it can't be 8, because we've already, so this is a 1 or a 2, and there's a yellow one right here, which means there's a yellow one right here somewhere. This is a 1 or 2. Now this is, could this be red? If it's yellow, this would have to be 1, 2, 3. It'd have to be 4 or 5. If this is a 7. Okay, well, 1 or 2. So we know there's a 7 in one of these. It can't be 1. It can't be 1, because if it's 1, this is a killer cage with a total of 7 times 1, which is 7, and you've already got 1 and 7, which is 8. So this has to be 2. So this is now a 3-cell killer cage, has to sum to 14, and we've got 7 and 2 is 9. This has to be a 5. Now, if this is 7, 1, 2, 3, this would be 4, which would still work. If it's 6, this can't be a 6. Obviously, none of these can be a 6. It would have to be a 2 or a 3. So this is 2, 3, or 4. Maybe we can do this killer cage. These are 28. It's similar to this one, but we don't have the 6 in there already. Well, not for sure anyways. There could be a 6 in here. So these sum to 28. We've got 11. 28 minus 11 is 17, like we learned up here. So these would have to be 17. That might be more limited than I think, but I'm not seeing it. So, okay, this is, let's color this yellow. I think it'll help me see a little bit, because like this, there we go. Maybe not. I was trying to figure out where the 6 could go, but it could really go in any of these. If this is a 6, the 6 has to be down here, but. So this arrow, I haven't been looking at the gray arrows at all, but now we've got a digit on here. So this is a 2. That's saying that whatever number is here, there's a 2 that many digits up here. And it does not create a killer cage. But I'm not sure. Oh, this can't be 2, because the 2 down here. So there's either a 6 here or that's a 7. Well, so I guess if this was a 6 and this was a 4, which is what that would mean. No, sorry, this would be a 3. This would be a 3. 6 times 3 is 18. We'd have 9. We'd have to put 9 in here. And you could do 1 and 8. That would work. Okay, so that's possible. If this is a 7, this is a 4. You'd need 28. You would have 11, you need 17 and 3. Yeah, okay. That's possible too. All right, so where should we look next? I mean, I guess we don't have we only got 4 cells left here. So maybe 2, 4, 5, and 9. If we put those in, these can't be 5s. Is that gonna give us anything? Don't know that it does, really. We can limit some of these. I'm gonna get rid of those for a second. We can limit some of these gray arrows. So this one, this digit is going this many cells to the right. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the most we can have in there. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it can't be 3 or 5. So this is actually a 1, 2, or 4 right here. 1, 2, or 4. So that digit, oh, and this digit can't be right here. So this can't be 1 or 2. This is a 4. And this digit is right there. Whatever that is, Those two are the same. That's interesting. So this has to be 1, 2, 8, or 9. That's just what's left in the column here. But we can't use the killer cage trick to really do anything with that, unfortunately. It also tells me that same cell has to be up here somewhere. Okay, let's see if we can get some more similar type stuff. This one is being projected this way. 1, 2, 3. It has to be 1, 2, 3, or 4. And it can't be a 1, because again, you can't project into the same box. So this is 2, 3, or 4, and it can't be a 4. So that's a 2 or a 3. So this digit is in there. Okay. For whatever that's worth. Just trying to figure out which ones are the most restricted. I think the rest are kind of the same. So this one, oh, and it's not the same box, so you can't restrict any of it really. 1, 2, 3. It could be up to 6. This one could be up to 5 because it can't be a 6. This one could also be right here. Oh, no, right here. Yeah, this was, again, still up to 5. And this one could be up to 5. Can't be a 4, though. We know there's a 4 in here. This can't be 2. But a 6 could be in any of those. All right, so where do we need to look next? I'm wondering if it's something with this. So this... Okay, so this is projecting 6 or 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's putting a cell in here. It's putting this one in here. If this is a 7, it has to project to there. But that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you can't put 7s in both of those. So this cannot be 7. This is a 6. This is a 7. That means this is a 7. Let's color those just for fun. All right, so 6 goes 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is a 6. Which is red. And that means this is... so this is now a killer cage. This whole length of this, almost this whole row. We've got one cell left that's not in the row. And these have to sum to 42, which means this has to be 45, the whole row, minus the 42 is 3. That's a 3. That gives us 5 and 3, and that 3 is going to give us the 4, which we already had now that we knew that was a 7. But that's okay. So this is telling us there's a 7 down here. Can't be in any of these, so it's got to be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 6. It can't be 6. This has to be 4. So this has to be a 7. And now that means this is a 7, and that's going to be all of the 7s. And 6s, can we get the 6s yet? There's no 6 in here, so one of these is the 6. So this is now a 3 or a 4, because there's a 6 in here. There's a 6 in here. No, sorry, here. 6 is over here. Means there's a 6 in there. Don't think we quite know where the 6s are yet. But we're making some progress here. All right, so what's even left in 1, 2, 8, and 9? Is that right? Yeah, 1, 2, 8, and 9. And these are 1, 2, 5, 8, and 9. Just to finish the rows. For whatever that's worth. So we know we've got a lot of 7-4s here. That's interesting. A lot of 7-4 projections. And then a 7-2 projection. But okay, maybe we can look at this one. So if this is a 3, these need to be 18. You've already got 10. These would have to be 8. They couldn't be 1, 7, or 3, 5. It would have to be 2, 6. Oh, and you'd have the 6. 6, so this would be 2. Right. So if this is 3, because you've got the 6 in there as well. 6, 7. In fact, either way, we've got a 6 and a 7. Whether the 6 is here. So we've already got 13. If this is a 3, we've got 16. They need to be 18. This would have to be a 2. If it's a 4, you're going to have 6, 4, and 7, which is 17. It needs to be 24. These are going to have to be 7. I was already doing 2 and 5 in my head. These are going to have to be 7 because you're doing 24. You've got 17. These have to be 7. Can't be 3, 4 or 1, 6. It would have to be 2, 5. So this is a 2 or a 5 either way. And we know it's being projected up this way. But don't know what that really tells us. These are 1, 2, 8, and 9 as well, but I have a lot of 1s, 2s, 8s, and 9s in here. But I'm not sure what we can do with that. Oh, the 2 here is looking up there. That's something. 3, 3. So there's a 3 up here. If this is a 3. Oh, no. Oh, no, this is a 3. This is a 3. Look, this. The 7 is being projected right there. All these arrows right up here were kind of messing with my head. I was thinking we were projecting this digit, but we're projecting the 7 over to there. And this is now a killer cage. That has to total 21, and we have 10. These have to be 11. And it can't be 3, 8, 4, 7, or 5, 6. This has to be 2, 9. So these cannot be 2 or 9. There we go. We get a 1, 8 pair. That makes this a 9 and a 2 and a 9. This is not 9. It's also, actually, this is the 2 because we have a 1, 5, 8 triple. So that's the 2. These are now 1, 5, and 8. And this can't be 5. Now, we might be able to do this killer cage now because we're pretty limited here. So these are 1, 3, 6, and 8. This one can't be 3 or 6. Oh, so 1, 8 pair. So now we have a 3 and a 6 in here. Okay, so this has to be 20, this killer cage. Or 28, sorry. It has to be 28. And we've already got 4, 6, 3, and 7. We've already got 20. So this has to be an 8 because it has to be 28. 1, it's a 5, 8 pair. 3, 6. So this 8 is being projected either 3 or 6. So one of these 2 is an 8. I think either one is probably okay. And we're not making a killer cage with a gray arrow, so. Now this is a 1, 5, or 8. If this is a 1 or an 8, we create a 1, 8 pair here. This could be an 8 with a 4. 5 would have to project over here. Oh, 5 would have to project 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cells because it can't be right here. And you can't do a 5 and a 5, so this can't be 5. So that gives us a 1, 8 pair. Or sorry, that's a 5. So now we do have 1, 8 here. So if this is a 1, then this can't project 1. 1, 1, 1. Obviously nonsense. So if this is a 1, it's got to project over here, which is 5. If it's an 8, it's projecting to right here, which is a 4. So that's a 4 or a 5. The 8 here, we should update our pencil marks probably. 7, 6, 6. So maybe now we can do some more. Yep, now the 6 is here. Nope. I was gonna say maybe we can do some more with our 6s now. No, there's a 6 here. Yeah, we already knew that. This is a 1, 2, or a 9. These are 2, 4, 5, and 9. There's quite a few options there. We know there's a 5 here. Okay, so which arrow? Okay, over here, this one. So this has to be a killer cage summing to 28. We've already got 4, 5, and 7, which is 16. So we need 12 more. We can't put a 2 there. You'd have to have a 10. This has to be a 3 and a 9. There we go. Now that 3 says whatever this is also right there. Let's make those, I don't know, how about orange? Why not? Oh, and over here, remember, these two have to be the same, so that can't be an 8 anymore. Gotta remember to update pencil marks. Okay, so these two are the same. What could they be? They could be 1, 2, 4, can't be 5, 6, 7, they could be 8, they can't be 9. Ah, can't be 4 either, the 4 over here. Missed that one. So we have a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, all seeing those, one of those two. So those are 1, 2, or an 8. Ah, it can't be a 2 either. There's a 2 up here. So it's a 1 or an 8. Interesting. We've got a bunch of 1, 8 pairs in the, or not, some pairs, some just cells that are limited to 1 and 8. Okay, so that's that arrow. We've done this arrow. We've done this arrow. We've done this arrow. We've done this arrow. This one. Ah, right here. Maybe we can figure out this one. So this has to be a killer cage summing to 28, 7 times 4. We've already got 7 and 4, which is 11. We need 17. All right, I'm gonna write in the candidates here just so I can kind of see what my options are for. Oh, no, before we do that, let's look at this 3, looking at the 3, 6 over here. That'd probably be a better plan, wouldn't it? So this 8 is now, see, it has a 6 projecting it over here. These are both 8s. Okay. That was the better thing to look at. Now, if this is an 8, still 4. Yeah, okay. But now we've got more here. So we've got 17 needs to be 28, so we need 11. Can't be 4, 7, can't be 5, 6. It can't be 3, 8 because this can't be 3 or 8. This is 2, 9, making that a 1 and this a 1. And this is now a 5, so that's a 4, so that's an 8, 1, 8, 1. That was a nice way to disambiguate this deadly pattern here. Okay, I feel like we're starting to close in on the finish here now. The 5 gives us a 2. The 4 up above gives us a 3. This is the 6. These are 1 and 2, and the 1 down here gives us the order. These are 2 and 5 in that order because of the 5 there. The 2 here means this is a 9 and a 2 that way, and a 9. This is an 8, 5. These are 2 and 4, and the 2 over here will give us the order of those. These can't be 8s. These are 8 and 9. The 8 to the left gives us the order of those. And now, let's see, this 2 is being projected 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cells up, so that's a 6. These are 4, 5, and 9. This one can't be 9 or 5. This one can't be 5. 1 is the only one left in the column and the box. We've got 4 and 8 over here. The 4 there is going to give us the order. That 8 is going to give us the 5 and the 8. What's left in here? 3 and 9, and the 9 will give us the order of those, which fixes our 1 and 3. And our final digits in these 2 rows are a 1 and a 6. There we go. And it must not have answer check enabled, because I'm pretty sure I did that all correct. I'll double check and make sure it's right. If you don't see a future Scott jumping in here, then it must be correct. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was if it's one of those things where at first it kind of feels like, well, there's not a lot I can do, but you just sort of find something here and find something there, and it all comes together. Very cool. It'd be interesting to do one of those where the black arrows didn't have to be 6 and 7. I wonder. It might be a little bit too much. Where do you start in that situation? But very cool. Not not simple, but not too bad. That was doable. You just have to kind of. Sometimes when you get a puzzle, this is a common thing in just puzzles in general, not specifically Sudokus and stuff, and just you get a puzzle and you're like, well, I mean, how could I even start this thing? And it's easy to be overwhelmed by this empty grid with arrows that don't tell you hardly anything. But you just kind of look around, and there's always going to be something that, I mean, in a puzzle that's been well designed anyways, there's always going to be something that you can find where, well, this is at least somewhat limited, and then that being limited will affect something else. And so it's easy to be kind of overwhelmed by these, especially like the ambiguity type puzzles, where there's lines but you don't know which kind they are, and to just think, well, how am I supposed to figure this out? And so I think it's good to just step back and say, well, what do I know? And just start from there. You don't have to know everything. If you know something, you can piece your way in. So cool puzzle. Let me know what you guys thought of that. And yeah, I'll see you again soon with another puzzle. Thanks. Bye.